Well, welcome, students. This is Chris Ripley, your teacher for this semester, whatever we want to call it. And we're 3 weeks into the class, so I thought I would make a short video. It might be longer than you think, probably about 10 minutes, I bet, talking about the progress so far and give you some information to help you hopefully do better in the future. We have some people who are doing very well, and then we have some folks that could do better, but everybody should listen. So here we go. So, first thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to get into something that was a little strategic. And why do we have you do discussion questions and papers? So there's lots of reasons why, but I'm going to get into one in particular. When you get this point of view, I hope that you have a better perspective on what you should say. We want to make sure that you understand the reading that we give you, the assignments. That's what makes up a course. You have the reading and the assignments that go with it, and they should all tie together. So when you do a discussion question, when you answer a discussion question, you could almost always have a reference to the book, to our reading, or to the PowerPoint, probably to the book. But you could do that on all, you should be able to do that on almost every discussion question. And that way, there, I can see that you know and understand the reading in the class. And the same holds true on papers as well. If there's a question for your paper, and within the book, there's a section that talks specifically about that, you should have some reference in there to let me know that I understand that you've done the reading and you understand what it means. That's how you learn. So that's why we do discussion. One of the reasons, I can't say the only reason, but one of the reasons why we do discussion questions and papers, to make sure that you know and understand the course. So when you get done, you'll have learned a good foundation for marketing. So now I'll get into some more tactical issues, and hopefully that will help you out even more. So, on the discussion questions, your initial response, when you respond to the question, you should include a reference or two. And that's, people have seen this in their grades where I may not give you full credit because you don't have references. And you may even state facts that you should have a reference for. So the book is always a great place to start as a reference, and it should make it easy for you. And the same should be true for papers. Papers should include the book as a reference every time almost. And I'll say this, and I'll get papers the next time, and there'll be people who don't use the book. And the questions for your paper are, the answers are in the book. So you should be able to use what's in the book to make your answer. And it doesn't have to be just the book. That's not what I'm saying. If you have other knowledge, include that. But I want to make sure that you understand the reading. Within your papers, you should have citations in the body of the paper. When you state a fact or you mention something that you either learned in the book or in other reading that you might have done, little research that you did for your paper, because you should really be going out and doing a little bit of research on it as well, and certainly researching on the company and the product that you're focusing on. But when you say it, you should then have a citation. And if you look down here on number 7, right here, there's a link, and I'll put this, I'll have this link in the place where I post the video as well. You can go there and learn how to do APA formatting. It's a great site to do that. You need to do citations within the body of your text, and you need that. You don't have to do that necessarily in discussion, but certainly in your paper, you're going to have to do that. So the other thing on the paper, you'd think this would be an easy one, but either restate the question or number your answers so it's easy for me to find. And this brings up another somewhat broad, maybe strategic topic, but you as a student want to make it as easy for me to find the answer to the questions. So you want to get right to the point. And I'm not saying that I want short answers because I want to make sure that you understand not only the specific point, but what effect it has on other issues within the marketing system. I want to make sure you understand how things work. But you've got to make it easy for me to find the answers and to find your references and things like that. And the easier that you make it, the better your grade is probably going to be. Now, you can have everything in that's an answer and you can get full credit, but I have to search for the answer. And I shouldn't have to do that. You should have, question number one. If you want to restate the question, that's great. I like that. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I'm talking with my hands here and you can't see that. But you also want to make sure that it's easy for me to find the answers to the question. And there, in some of these questions, there are 3 and 4 and 5 parts. That means you need to have 3 or 4 or 5 answers. Make sure you get all parts of the question. I think some people um, lost points for that as well. So number your question, answer the questions as I was just saying. Make sure when you read your answer and then go back and reread the question to make sure you got it covered. There's the APA site that I talked about, and then another thing, use 12-point Roman font. That's what everybody should be using because it's hard for me I can't change the font when I'm reading them. And if it's a small font or whatever, it makes it harder to read. Again, it's harder to find the answers. So use 12-point Times Roman font and a simple cover page as described in the assignment. So if anybody has any questions on this, the best thing to do would be to send me an email or send me an instant message, although I might not be online at the time and I'll get it when I get on. So one or the other if you have any specific questions about it. But I hope this helps you. You need to understand that you want to add the knowledge that you have from the reading and the PowerPoint and any research that you do. You want that to go into your discussion responses and into your papers, and you want to get credit for it. In other words, make sure that you have references. So again, like I said, any questions, send me an email, send me an IM, and that's it. Everybody, good luck in the next 5 weeks, and I may do this again. Thanks.